Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Programming with a Purpose. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use SwiftData to convert your models into persistent data storage. And it is a very simple process. Unlike CoreData, which requires a proper structure and maintenance, you can simply convert your models to SwiftData. So let's get started. So as a first step, I am adding a struct recipe inside content view, which is basically consists of an ID, a name, image, and ingredients, which is an array of string. So this is the structure which we are going to convert to SwiftData model in the next half of the video. So first create a simple struct here and let's populate it with the data. We are creating another view with the name of recipe detail view inside the content view. It basically displays the details of the recipe upon click. So it is a text with the name of recipe name at the top, a vstack that contains text, and then an image, and then text in the form of a list of ingredients that are listed with a hyphen. So this is all for the recipe detail view. Some paddings and spacers are added to make the view more presentable. So here I'm adding some of the variables inside content view. One of it is recipes, which provides the static data for testing inside our content view. So here we are creating a list with the first item as a button, which is a plus sign, and it is going to add the recipe, and once it's clicked, is adding recipe variable is set to true, which is going to then present a sheet of creation of a new recipe. The view is not created as yet. I'm going to show you in a few moments. So here we are iterating the static data inside the recipes array and creating a navigation link for each of the item. And the item consists of an 8 stack with an image of the recipe and a text of the recipe name. And once it's clicked, it is going to basically take us to the recipe detail view. We are adding another view with the name of recipe creation view, which is going to basically help us add a new recipe to our already existing list of recipes. So here I am creating another class inside the recipe creation view with the name of coordinator, which is extending NS object, UI image picker controller delegate and UI navigation controller delegate. It will basically help us to pick an image from the gallery. Here I have extended a function image picker controller with the value of did finish picking media with info. So I am going to get the original image from the information that is picked and put it in the selected image, and then that is set as a parent.image for the coordinator. So now our coordinator class has the image that we have selected inside the variable parent. Here I am writing the definition of a struct with the name of image picker, which is extending UI view controller representable. It has an environment variable, presentation mode, and a binding variable image. So make coordinator will call the coordinator class that we have already created, and make UI view controller is basically going to return us a view controller, which is an image picker. And update UI view controller is basically just a necessity of using this UI view controller representable. So we are adding nothing to the body of this function. So this is all for the image picker struct. So here I have used the wrong type, so I'm fixing this error. Here I've added some of the variables inside the recipe creation view is presented, and on save function, which is a callback, recipe name, ingredients, and selected image, and then show image picker, basically to display or not to display the image picker. So here I'm adding the body to recipe creation view inside the var body sum view. It is a form and it contains basically a section which is the recipe details, that is the header. After that, two text fields are added for recipe name and ingredients. After that, an image is basically to display the image that we have selected, a button to select the image from the gallery, and then a navigation bar items, navigation title, and a sheet which is going to basically present the image picker in front of the recipe creation view and help the user to pick the image. So here I'm creating two of the functions, save recipe and cancel creation. So save recipe is going to remove all the commas from the ingredients and then add white spaces to it and convert it into an array which is then passed to the ingredients to create a recipe. And on save function of the content view is called to basically save this recipe. And cancel creation is just going to basically dismiss the view by making this variable is presented is equals to false. Now here adding the recipe will show nothing because we haven't called this function inside the content view. The recipe creation view is not called inside the content view. So we need to add this in the content view. So here I am calling the function recipe creation view inside content view with the variable is presented, which is going to basically map to our is adding recipe, and on save function is basically the add recipe function that we are passing with the variable recipe. So here I'm adding all the details of the recipe, which is biryani, and it is going to be added to our list. I'm going to show you here. So I'm playing the app again, and you can see that the biryani entry is not there. This is the obvious behavior because the model is not persistent. So here I'm making the recipe struct persistent by adding add model and import Swift data on the top of this content view. Also, I'm going to convert this struct into class and use an init method. Which other changes are required to make it workable? Let's see. So we are adding two of the variables inside the content view. One is recipes, which is going to basically perform all the operations on the recipe class that we have created, and an environment variable of model context. Each view has its own context. An app can have multiple context, but we are going to basically create just one context for this view. In fact, for the whole app, because our app do not contain a lot of views, and this context is shared between the views. I'm updating the function add recipe by making its definition as model context dot insert recipe. So it is going to insert the recipe inside the model context. So the major changes in the code required are basically the changes of converting from image to image path. So we are basically saving the image path, not the image exactly. So this requires a lot of changes. I'm going to make these changes one by one in both of the files, content view and recipe detail view. So here I need to add a model container to my recipe book app for the type of recipe.self. Now I've made all the changes and the code is running successfully. You can see that when I've added the recipe, it is going to be persistent after adding the Swift data. So that means that Swift data is working, and it is a very simple process. You can see that it is 2 or 3 line of code that we have added to convert it into a persistent model. So again, I'm going to play the app and it is going to give me the error. This is due to the reason that the simulator keeps changing the path of the files inside a simulator. This error will not occur if you play this code inside a real device. So look at the path. It has some temp values and some changing values. This is due to the reason it is going to crash and cause some issue while playing. So you need to basically remove the app, play it again in the simulator, and on real device you can just continue from the previous run that you have played for the app. So guys, this is all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed learning Swift data with me. I'm going to create some more applications using it and show you the other functionalities and basically the other uses of Swift data. Also, I'm going to show you in a tutorial how to compare both of these implementations, CoreData and Swift data, to basically measure the amount of effort used to implement CoreData as well as Swift data. So this is all for this tutorial. Stay tuned and thank you for watching.